Today's video is going to be different because I feel a bit of a rant coming. And it's a rant at myself more so than anybody else. Because I've been thinking, the past couple weeks, I've been lazy. I've been procrastinating. I've been putting things off. I've been sleeping in really late. And I've been avoiding even the smallest little things like going to the bank to pick up a new checkbook. And at the same time, I've been listening to this podcast on World War I and on the soldiers there, especially on the Western Front, and what they had to go through, the extremes of human experience that they went through day after day after day. Particularly, they would sit in holes, covered in mud, covered in sweat, covered in grime, watching their comrades, often their friends, sometimes their family, die around them. Bullets shooting overhead, explosions going off left and right, and they would bury the dead in the ground beneath their feet. And over time, the ground would rise as the bodies of their fallen comrades decayed, and they would still be there on the front one more day fighting. And the other day, last night, it finally clicked on an emotional level. I'm not talking about words on the page. I'm talking about literal lightning bolts of revelation sent through my body. That this life is in such a prized time in human history. If you're alive right now, if you have the luxury of procrastinating and watching Netflix, if you have the luxury of worrying about getting homework done or getting assignments completed on time or submitting client work, if you have that luxury of deciding what you want to do with your life, then it just blows my mind that people can go about, particularly me. I, in this scenario, am the person that this rant is addressed to. The me 5 days ago is the receiver of this rant, because imagine what that soldier would say. Imagine that standing in front of you is a soldier who just came from the front. He's been sitting in mud and sweat and grime for a year, for months and months, watching his friends and comrades die around him with little chance of ever coming home alive. And every day, more people die. And he's covered in blood. He's covered in, a lot of these people were missing limbs by the time they returned home. And they've been through awful things like poison gas. And they're fighting, in some real sense, for the very freedom that allows you to choose what you want to do with your life. However indirect, regardless of political motivations, all of that, what they thought they were doing was fighting for their right to live life the way they saw fit, the way they thought it should be lived. And what do you think they would say to you? And this is addressed to me, again, more than anybody. Anytime that you're too lazy to complete that piece of writing, that piece of content, you're too lazy to just do your laundry, or on a broader scale, you have time to figure things out. You don't need to do anything today. You always have tomorrow. And this soldier's just sitting in front of you, covered in blood, spending one more day on the front. He's been through hell, something worse than most human beings will ever experience and can ever even fathom. And yet he woke up this morning and he decided to fight another day. Imagine what he would say to you. Imagine how thin any possible excuse you can come up with is for not taking action, given the gift, the lottery winnings of the time we live in, the age that you're at, whatever it is, it doesn't matter, the time that you have left. And we only have one life. And we take it for granted that we get to spend it as we choose, and we get to make an impact in the world and let it be filled with joy and with happiness and with all of the good things. But a lot of people didn't. Perhaps most people in human history didn't have this luxury. And we cannot forget all of the people that came before us and the lives they had, because when we do, we lose sight of the fact that this life and this time that we live in is an utter treasure. And if you're not willing to spend it with creativity and passion and work every single day of your life to make it beautiful and remarkable and fill your life with happiness, then just imagine what that soldier would say to you, sitting on the war front, fighting for your very right to procrastinate.